You're watching 7 Urban Sports here on KQEG. I'm your host, Terry Erickson. Each week, an inside look into sports, wellness, fitness. Well, we continue looking at high school football. We broadcast games. We have high school athletes on our show. Today, the spotlight on the Onalaska Hilltoppers with 2 senior leaders, Larson and Nick Pica. Welcome to the show, guys.
Thank you.
As we take the show, it's just coming off a resounding win over the Logan Rangers, and then the drama was set for a big game at Sparta. Their homecoming, Sparta 4-0, and everyone was concerned and really interested in how that game came out. And you played pretty well. Austin, what'd you think of that game?
Well, obviously we had a lot of respect for them going in 4-0. Obviously, he's a big thing. A lot of respect for Cole Wisniewski, obviously a great player. And then we just prepared accordingly, trying to stop him as much as we could.
This is kind of when I do my ESPN radio spot, talk about this is the year of quarterbacks in the MBC. Maybe more skilled quarterbacks than we've seen for years and years and years. Austin Larson, Johnny Davis, then you have Weber, you have Wisniewski, and it's just a year of some talented people. Garrett Wetzel, Gavin Wetzel, I mean, there's just a lot of talent, and you're one of them.
Well, thank you. Yeah. I think it's a testament to the areas and the area that we have here and the talent.
Well, and as we tape the show, you have 11 TDs, closing in on 1,000 yards. Are you satisfied with your progress so far?
I think offensively, we've had some of our struggles have been just maintaining the balance and whatnot. But I think where we are right now is a good spot. I mean, we're winning games, so.
Lots of talent on defense too, starting with Nick Pica, who's playing pretty well. What's your thoughts on the season so far?
We got out to a really fast start with the Hudson game, and I think our defense is really starting to gel as we have 10 of 11 seniors this year, so we've got a lot of experience, and I think we're really playing up to our potential right now.
So, speaking of talent and potential and so on, there's several quotes that talk about athletes and potential and competitive greatness, and one of them is to sacrifice the gift is highly disappointing because you have the gift in various sports. How do you show that gift when you perform either on the baseball field, football field?
I think it all comes down to a lot of leadership, and I think if you can use your gift to lead others and kind of put them along with you when you compete, I think it can really show out instead of being kind of like a single show.
Well, in Austin, you have a gift, and you've been able to show it, and you have not sacrificed and disappointed anybody with your gift. And do you think about that when you compete?
I would say, yeah, I do think about that I have this ability and whatnot, and you have to work hard for it and really put it the best you can, or really live up to what you can do.
You're a senior leader, high expectations. Tony Dungy talks about that in his book and on his broadcast about being an uncommon person. Uncommon meaning athletes are a little bit on a platform, and other people look up to them. And so the expectations are maybe more than what some people want, and you're looked up to. So you have to you're kind of a coach on the field, and I'm sure Coach Yaz talks about that.
So I think that is true, and you're in the spotlight, and everyone on the team and in the community or whatnot is looking up to you to provide that leadership and whatnot. And if you're doing the right thing, that just provides us the set in stone place for the rest of the team.
Yeah, but is that hard though to always meet those expectations for somebody that's a senior in high school and 17 years old?
For me personally, I've been trying to do that for no matter what age or no matter what position I've been in. I try to put myself in a position to lead and affect others and influence others.
Nick, how would you characterize your leadership skills?
I think I have the ability to bring people together for a common goal, and I think it's our defense kind of shows that. We have multiple really good leaders on that defense, and I think it's really started to come together over the past few years. I mean, we struggled 2 years ago. Last year we started to put it together, and now we have a lot of seniors that really care about the common coming together as a defense and just not letting them put up many points. So
I look at your website, and if those of you that are watching the show, Onalaska has a unique sort of approach in terms of building family, building culture, building togetherness, building team chemistry. And your coaching staff does a good job with that. Share with our viewers the culture of Onalaska Hilltopper football.
I mean, we say pound the rock a lot. That means something to, I think, different to everyone on the team, but as a whole, it just means keep pounding away at what we're trying to accomplish. And I think the grades before us have kind of set the stage for us to finally kind of come out and show what we've been building and building on. So I think that's kind of what our culture has been.
I look at a lot of cultures, a lot of college cultures and high school cultures, and you know, they're across the board. But I'm impressed with some of the kind of the unusual, unique things that you do, service to the community and so on. Can you elaborate on that, Austin?
I think it's somewhat just getting the community involved. I mean, the community wants to be a part of Onalaska football, and that we appreciate that, so we try to get out there, whether it be we have this event every year. We go into the Omni Center, and we have the special needs, like parade or clinic, where we go and sit down and play games and whatnot with them. So I think that's an example of one of those things that we try to do.
So you go to a grade school, you go to the middle school in Onalaska, and you share with them some advice, some wisdom, some knowledge, some experiences. What would you say to them in terms of someday following your footsteps and be an Onalaska Hilltopper football player?
Obviously, I think it starts with hard work and just loving the game. Also, it's academics as well, trying to succeed in multiple facets, and then being a leader, influencing others and having others look up to you is huge.
You're the keynote speaker at Onalaska Middle graduation, Nick Pica, in the month of May, and you have to give some advice, some experiences, some wisdom. What are you going to say to them?
I haven't thought too much on it yet. I mean, going into high school, I wish I would have taken it a little bit slower and just kind of slowed down and enjoyed the first few years. I think the first few years you're trying to build for something great, and I think you just kind of got to slow down and enjoy it a little bit.
And if I asked teammates to share their thoughts on Nick Pica, what would they say?
I mean, I think they'd say, along with Austin, the rest of the team, that I'm like for the team. And I think I've really shown that this year through my play and kind of our whole secondary as a whole, just playing for the team as long as me.
Senior leader, sometimes it's adversity, sometimes athletes make bad decisions. Doesn't mean they're bad people, they just make wrong decisions. And you're a leader, you're a captain, you're somebody that the kids look up to, Austin. Somebody makes a bad decision. There's drama on your team. What do?
I go and confront it one-on-one with that person, try to see what their situation or their perspective is of it, and try to manage it before it turns into something else. Try to manage it before our coach has to get involved. And I think that builds chemistry, and that builds just that relationship with every guy, and that helps me as a leader.
That's not easy to do for somebody as young as you, and they're your friends and so on, and there's just you're some reluctance there, I am sure. Is that happened?
There's some individuals, obviously, where it's not as effective, and then it does happen to go to a coach, and they have to deal with it or whatnot. But I think that as the leader of the team or whatnot, that is kind of my responsibility somewhat, too.
Take us through an Onalaska Hilltopper practice. What's unique, special about the way practices are run? Nick?
I think we really drill the fundamentals a lot more than other teams. I mean, during the summer, teams are drilling the fundamentals and going through, and we kind of have our drills that like every week we do, and they really show up in games sometimes. So,
how about the mental aspect? You know, a lot of people struggle with the mental part of the game, whatever sport it is, or just life in general. Strong mentally. The mental is to the physical as 4 is to 1 in terms of importance. And you being the quarterback that has to make all kinds of decisions, audible, spontaneity, moving the pocket, check downs, you name it. I mean, it's complicated. How do you get yourself mentally ready?
It starts in practice. I would agree with that 4-to-1 analogy, just that we teach the concept instead of, yes, you have to run 5 yards. We teach them, here's the open space and here's what you should be thinking. And I think that chemistry and just that knowing of what I want and what the offense is trying to do is important.
So it's more of a college approach, meaning route running is contingent on reads on the defense, and then the chemistry needs to be there between the route runner and the read and finding the seam and finding the soft spot, and you reading the cuts of the route runner.
I would agree with that. Sometimes I find myself even going and showing them the wideouts and running the routes myself just to say this is how we want it done or this is how it should be. So I think that, yeah, that's obviously what we're trying.
So you're a route runner in practice once in a while?
Sometimes, yes.
But if you're a route runner and Nick Pica's on defense, who wins the battle?
Oh, Nick Pica by far. I'm sorry.
Really?
Yeah.
Because he jumps the route, or maybe he puts his ear in the huddle and he knows what play is being called. Would that be part of it?
No, I think it's
Can't give away the secret.
Just his technique.
Just his technique and his read and his instincts and so on. Well, speaking of reads, we got to read a commercial. So we're going to take a break just a minute. When we come back, more here. It's Onalaska Hilltopper Day here at KQEG. We'll be right back.
With our busy lives, it's a comfort to know that we can still remember loved ones in a traditional way with a monument. Lewiston Monuments in Lewiston, Minnesota has been helping families purchase a monument for over 4 generations. You'll find a large selection of beautiful granite, marble, and bronze monuments, all at competitive prices. And they're a full-service company, so they also do straightening, cleaning, and repair of monuments. Stop in or call for a no-obligation consultation, or visit lewistonmonument.com for more information.
At Schneider Heating and Air Conditioning, we have assembled a championship team
who listens to what your needs are.
We install carrier comfort systems that improve the comfort, efficiency, and the air quality of your home and workplace.
We serve you with highly trained technicians who are prompt, friendly, and honest.
For Gold Star treatment, turn to the experts, Carrier and Schneider Heating and Air Conditioning.
Schneider Heating and Air Conditioning, your comfort is our business.
Welcome back to Seven River Sports. Great interview today. We have Onalaska Hilltopper Football senior players Austin Larson and Nick Pica. I talked to your coach, Coach Yash, recently. Here's what he said about Nick Pica. Nick is a very cerebral young man who is always thinking and trying to find the edge, find the answers about the other team and how they're doing and how to attack them. What's your thought on that quote?
I would definitely agree with that. I think sometimes in practice I ask some questions, I get some like Nick kind of just stop asking stuff. So I mean, I'm always trying to learn and I'm always trying to find a weak spot. So
you'd agree with that, huh?
Yeah.
Pretty cerebral? Are you cerebral in the classroom too?
I don't know what the meaning of that word is. But Austin, do you know what that means?
I couldn't tell you.
Yeah,
No.
Cerebral means that you're studious, you're inquisitive, you're sharp, you're wise, you think before you act.
Yeah, I think school, especially, it goes a lot farther than football, obviously, in life. For me, I'm not sure, some of these guys might go on to play more football, but the classroom is where I'm going to continue. So
Austin Larson is a student of the game, is always sending me plays, ideas, adjustments to things we currently do. Which, by the way, if you read and study quarterbacks, successful quarterbacks, they're students of the game, and they do provide input. And you do that too, huh?
Yeah, usually it's like Sunday night I'll be watching film on our next opponent, and then me and Yash are texting back and forth of what we like, what we see, and I think that just helps you prepare, and if you don't do that, you're not going to be as successful.
You get to the line of scrimmage, you got a play called in the huddle, and things change completely. And now they're showing stunt, they're showing zone versus man-to-man, or they're going from man-to-man, going from zone to press coverage. How do you adjust?
I think it all starts with the preparation of knowing what the looks they have and what different things that they usually do are their tendencies. But then you see something you don't prepare for, then you just got to react and you got to make the best play that you can.
Good quarterbacks move the pocket. They keep their shoulders and their vision downfield, their escapability. They read, they check down. I mean, more than maybe any other position. What's your greatest skill set?
I think pocket mobility is something I've worked on a lot, and I think that I've improved. And I think just being able to kind of see where the line is, giving you those holes to either run or step up or move around to keep your eyes downfield as well.
Well, you watch the NFL on Sundays, and there's a lot of just very tremendous cerebral quarterbacks out there. So who do you like in terms of trying to model some of the skills?
Obviously, I'm a Packer fan. Aaron Rodgers is great, just the way he's able to throw the ball on different platforms. But I like watching Drew Brees as well, just because he moves around so well and puts himself in the best positions.
I agree with Drew Brees, and I agree with both of them. But you watch Sunday football, Monday night football, Thursday night football, Friday, whatever. It's all over the place now. And there's a lot of good defensive backs out there. You try to model yourself after somebody?
I like the way Jalen Ramsey plays the game. Some of his off-the-field stunts aren't the best, but I like when he's on the field how he plays.
Anybody for Green Bay then that you really look at?
Tramon Williams, when he played, I really liked how he played and kind of played as a team. He played with the safety instead of just going man-to-man on an island, and I really admired how he played together with his teammates.
You're both good students. You both excel in the classroom. Student first, athlete second. And that's the expectation, knowing your parents, their family, friends, that's something that comes first. Share your thoughts on, especially for young viewers, on academics and the importance of it.
I think for most kids, I mean, football is not going to take you everywhere in life you want to go. The 1% might. I think focusing on the classroom and getting into a good school, doing well in the ACT, that sets you up for life a lot better than football, focusing on football.
You graduate in May. What's next then for Nick Pica?
College for sure. Still undecided where I'm going to go, what I'm going to play. So definitely a 4-year, maybe 2-year, probably a 4-year. So
career?
Business probably, right around business. Something around there with the money side of things.
So run your own business?
Maybe, we'll see.
Maybe buy the wellness center at some point?
Who knows?
That's your part-time job, right?
Yep.
How do you like that?
Good.
Are you able to balance part-time work, social life? I assume you have a social life. And school and sports and all that other kind of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes at the start of the day, I kind of look through what I got for the day and what I can and what I can't do, and I think that helps a lot.
So in Austin too, you're good in the classroom. I know that you've achieved some recognition. Is that difficult to balance all of that?
For me, no. I kind of pride myself in how well I do academically. I think that, like what Nick said, you only play football for so long, and the way you're able to learn and educate yourself will provide you opportunities.
But the success you've had this year, by the way, you've had some injuries and some adversity, and you've been able to overcome that and hopefully stay healthy the rest of the way. Mm-hmm. But you've achieved some success this year, and I mentioned about all the quarterbacks, and you're one of them in that top tier. Is football possibly in the future for you?
Yeah, I think college football is definitely in the future, possibly. I'm not sure where that will be yet, but it's something I'd like to do.
Have you narrowed your searches at all?
No, I'm pretty wide open right now, talking to different coaches and whatnot. But
what's your favorite class at Onalaska?
I'm not taking any chemistry this year, but I took all our chemistry classes at Onalaska. Those are my favorites.
So you took a lot of AP stuff, and so you challenged yourself, no question about it. So you're not sure of what's going to happen after graduation then?
Nope. Definitely going to college, whether it's football or not, but yeah.
And maybe take over the family business or what?
No, definitely not. Stay away from that.
Go into something else?
Yep.
Well, you both have bright futures, no question about it. And you're multi-sport athletes, and this is a football show, at least in the fall, but you're both excellent baseball players too, so I'm sure that is a possibility in the future.
Yeah, for sure. I think baseball would probably be my number one right now to go and play after school. So been talking to a few coaches. We'll see how it lines up.
And, of course, I've watched you play at the club. You've played with our grandsons, and you've played on some really good teams. And I was there quietly rooting you on, of course, during those games.
Very quietly.
And, but encouraging, I should say.
Of course, yeah.
Which
Positive, yeah.
Of course I will.
Oh, yeah.
And so, Austin, you have some talent in baseball, too.
Yeah. Yeah, playing with playing with Julian and them obviously has been fun, yeah.
Oh. So stepping back down memory lane for a minute, and it's people that inspired you and how you got really involved in athletics. Reflect on that, Austin.
I think it just starts with my dad. He liked to pretty much play anything, whether it be throwing a ball around, kicking a soccer ball, throwing a baseball or whatnot. I've always been doing something.
So when you were young, you trace that back to maybe some inspiration,
Yeah.
and that blossomed through the years, right?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Would that be your role model too, then?
I think so too. My dad's been pretty successful in life, and I look up to him. So I think he's kind of set the framework for what, like a leader, and what I should become.
And of course, family, in terms of being your biggest fan, is you certainly recognize that.
Yeah, mom and dad are always at every game, always supporting brothers and sisters too as well. So.
And Nick, taking a trip down memory lane in a cerebral fashion. You had some people inspired you.
Yeah, probably first off, my dad. He was running back in high school as a sophomore. I mean, he was a smaller kid, got big, so I think baseball didn't really come from anywhere, but football definitely from my dad. Baseball just kind of grew on me and just loved it. So.
You've had some good coaches too.
Mm-hmm. Probably starting with Jake Erickson over at the BGC. I mean, he really
I know him.
he taught me a lot about leadership and just how being a good person in the world can really inspire other people to be good. So.
Good. And so those memories are a fond part of you growing up, no question about it. We live in a kind of a difficult world as we close this interview here this week. If you could change the world in some way, a question you may not be expecting. If you could change the world, how would you do that, Nick?
I think that people should look at other people's situations and kind of not judge them or react based off what they see on the outside, but kind of see them for the person they are, and kind of address some people's struggles in life because they need some help, and we should get them that help.
Austin, are you satisfied with the world you're living in?
No, I don't really know how to answer that. I'd say maybe not, just because obviously we have some issues. So.
Well, just put yourself in a leadership position. Put yourself where you could put the magic wand out there and change something. How would you do it?
I think it starts with just within yourself, trying to do the right things, whether it be recycling or little stuff like that, and kind of trying to bring someone else along with you, and join that movement. Good.
And so you both know that that impacting others is part of your calling, and that starts with your family, around school, around the community, not just on the field, but in the hallways, in the lunchroom, and so on. How you impact others leaves a pretty profound example and a profound impact that carries over for years to come. So. Anyway, it's I've always admired you, and you guys know you played at the club, so we appreciate you taking the time. I'm sure you didn't mind missing class to come on the show this week. But again, we are profiling Hilltopper football with Austin Larson and Nick Pica. Thanks for being on the show, guys.
Thank you very much.
We'll be back with some closing thoughts along with some film clips right after this.
At Schneider Heating and Air Conditioning, we have assembled a championship team
who listens to what your needs are.
We install carrier comfort systems that improve the comfort, efficiency, and the air quality of your home and workplace.
We serve you with highly trained technicians who are prompt, friendly, and honest.
For Gold Star treatment, turn to the experts, Carrier and Schneider Heating and Air Conditioning.
Schneider Heating and Air Conditioning, your comfort is our business.
When you're faced with the decision of selecting a monument to honor someone dear to you, call Lewiston Monuments for a no-obligation consultation. Lewiston Monument is a full-service monument company, serving families in Iowa, Minnesota, and Wisconsin for over 4 generations. You'll find beautiful granite, marble, and bronze memorials, all at competitive prices. Their experts can help you design the perfect and unique memorial. Lewiston Monument, Call today or on the web at lewistonmonument.com.
Welcome back to Seven Rivers Sports. Well, Rick and Art were at Watertown on Friday for the first round of the football playoffs. Holmen ready for the postseason after suffering 2 conference losses to end the regular season. The opponent, the Watertown Goslings, a 6-3 record representing the Badger South Conference. Watertown struck first on a 26-yard field goal by Braden Fisher. Then the Viking offense kicked in with TD runs by Jaden Abraham and Brett Holden. 14-3 Holmen after 1. Watertown scored early in the second on a 3-yard run by Evan Pauley. Then Holden answered, and 21-10 Vikings at intermission. Senior quarterback Cameron Weber ran the option to perfection in the third quarter, scoring from 14 yards out. 27-10 at the end of 3. Linebacker Ryland Wall broke through the Watertown line in the fourth for a Viking safety. That was followed by a spectacular 69-yard run by senior Brett Holden to cap off the scoring. Holmen moves to round 2 of the playoffs, facing number 1 seed Hartford on Friday. We'll be there to bring you the action. Final from Watertown, Holmen 36 and Watertown 10. Carl and I were at Roger Herring Field on Friday as the Aquinas Blue Goals would entertain the Platteville Hillmen. An exciting night for the Blue Goals as they qualified for the playoffs for the first time since 2012. Platteville scored early in the first quarter on a 1-yard run by fullback John Goomy. Short time later, Aiden Lee found pay dirt from 1 yard out, 7-7 after 1. Junior Matt Reutemann scored in the second quarter, 14-7 at half. No scoring in the third, so he moved to the fourth. Freshman quarterback Jackson Flotmeyer, replacing injured senior quarterback Gavin Wetzel, found Will Cambia open on a post pattern right down the middle, scoring from 45 yards out. Then Matt Reutemann finished the scoring from 1 yard out, and Aquinas would advance with a 28-7 playoff win. The Blue Goals traveled to GET on Friday, and our cameras will be there to bring you all the action from round 2 of the WIA playoffs. Well, that's it this week here on Seven Rivers Sports. I'm your host, Terry Erickson, hoping that you have an active and a healthy week ahead.